White House correspondent John Roberts with the view from the North Lawn today. Brand new week, John. Good morning.
Happy President's Day to you from the White House this morning. MoveOn.org has got a day of protest planned across the nation, including one, we believe, in Lafayette Park right across the White House. You mentioned Javier Becerra, the Attorney General from California. He, the American Civil Liberties Union, and others are all lining up to file lawsuits against the president's emergency declaration when they return from their week off this week. It's a recess. Members of Congress on the Democratic side planning on introducing legislation to block the emergency declaration as well. Listen to what Adam Schiff, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, said yesterday.
Is this the first time a president has tried to declare an emergency when Congress explicitly rejected funding for the particular project that the president is advocating?
Yeah, you know, the president said on Friday in announcing this that there's been dozens of emergency declarations, but this one is an appropriations declaration, which is designed to circumvent Congress. White House officials say, though, if Congress does pass legislation to block the declaration, the president may veto it. Here's the president's chief policy advisor, Steve Miller, with Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday.
Obviously, the president is going to protect his national emergency declaration, Chris. And I know that we're out of time, but again, I want to make this point. There's no threat.
So, yes, he will veto?
He's going to protect his national emergency declaration, guaranteed. This is a threat in our country, not overseas, not in Belarus, not in Zimbabwe, not in Afghanistan or Syria or Iraq, but right here. And if the president can't defend this country, then he cannot fulfill his constitutional oath of office.
Now, keep in mind, Bill, everybody's talking about this emergency declaration. The emergency declaration only unlocks the military construction money, the so-called Section 2808 money. All of the other money, which includes the Treasury forfeiture, the Section 284 DOD, anti-drug funds, transferring some money within the DOD, he doesn't need the emergency declaration for that. So the White House believes that even with these court challenges, they still may be able to get their hands on about $4.5 billion to put toward wall construction.
Which isn't nothing, right? McCabe interview.
It's almost what the president wanted.
Exactly right about that. McCabe interview last night, 60 Minutes. What's the White House saying about that today, John?
Clearly making a lot of news. Andrew McCabe, the former deputy director of the FBI, saying, well, he did not participate in lengthy discussions about a 25th Amendment removal of the president. He did speak to Rod Rosenstein, the deputy attorney general, about it. Rosenstein mentioned it to McCabe, and according to McCabe, Rosenstein was serious about it. Listen to what he said on 60 Minutes.
The discussion of the 25th Amendment was simply Rod raised the issue and discussed it with me in the context of thinking about how many other cabinet officials might support such an effort.
Not surprisingly, the president going off on McCabe and Rosenstein this morning, tweeting, quote, wow, so many lies by now disgraced acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe. He was fired for lying, and now his story gets even more deranged. He and Rod Rosenstein, who was hired by Jeff Sessions, another beauty, looked like they were planning a very illegal act and got caught. There is a lot of explaining to do to the millions of people who had just elected a president who they really like and who has done a great job for them in the military, vets, economy, and so much more. This was the illegal and treasonous insurance policy in full action. South Carolina Senator Sen Graham, vowing that he is going to investigate what he called an administrative coup, says if necessary, he will subpoena McCabe and Rosenstein to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Committee member Chris Coons has got a different take on it, though. First, listen to Graham and then Coons.
There's an allegation by the acting FBI director at the time that the Deputy Attorney General was basically trying to do an administrative coup, take the president down through the 25th Amendment process. The Deputy Attorney General denies it, so I promise your viewers the following, that we will have a hearing about who's telling the truth.
It is alarming that there were apparently folks at the highest levels of our government considering whether or not our president is unfit to serve. I don't think that this, frankly, rises to the level of some deep state conspiracy.
No word yet on when Graham may call for that hearing, but I expect it'll be sometime pretty soon. Bill?
Thank you, John. Nice to see you. John Roberts there at the White House.